The greater the cause, the greater the wealth. And that is the quote of the day. Welcome back to the Quote of the Day show. I'm your host, Sean Croxton of SeanCroxton.com. It is Finance Friday, where we talk about all things money, mindset, and today's featured speaker is Dr. John Demartini. I could have Dr. John Demartini on every single episode of the show because the man drops nothing but knowledge bombs. And today he's talking about having a cause that is greater than yourself, especially when it comes to financial freedom and creating wealth in your life. And this is something that I coach entrepreneurs on all the time. What is that cause beyond you? Who are you going to help? Who are you going to impact? What's going to be the stamp that you leave on the world? What's going to be that service that you provide to other people that changes their lives? And when they get out of themselves, they really turn on fire. Because what happens if it's all about you, if it's all about the big house, if it's all about the big cars, once you get that stuff, the fire is gone. You find that you don't have any more motivation. You find that you plateau. But when you get out of yourself and make it about others, that fire stays lit. And so hope you enjoy this one. I'll see you on the other side. Here's Dr. John Demartini.
If you help other people get where they want to get in life, you get where you want to get in life. Basic law. But what is the cause? If it's just to get comfortable, then that's exactly the second you get comfortable, you'll plateau. Are you with me on this? Let me thinking about their cause for a moment. I share one other story because this is important. These are crucial components of wealth building. I worked with a doctor, happened to be a chiropractor in Sudbury, Ontario. He was sitting there in his practice for 8 years, about the same income, every year, the same number of patients, same income. He was just sitting there plateaued. He happened to come to my Breakthrough Experience program, got a new idea, got inspired about some things. He said, I want to grow and I want to go in my wealth some more. He got alive again. He was kind of dying and he was getting alive. He was comfortable. He had enough to retire and he was comfortable. And I asked him the same question I asked that lovely lady. I said, if you had only 24 hours to live, what would you do? And something came to him. And this doesn't come to everybody, but this is what came to this gentleman. He said he had also something to do with his mother. Because, see, in his situation, he became a healer, and he felt he had special hands as a healer. And his mother is the one who he felt contributed him to these hands. She had a special gift, a special love, a special trust in the universe and the healing process. And so what he decided to do is he decided to set up a scholarship at Canadian Memorial Chiropractic College. And he was going to donate a certain amount of money into that college. And so until it reached a certain level, so then on an annual basis, that a portion of the interest earned off that money would be able to go towards scholarships for the students. To be able to go out for the people who are the best in the clinic and the best in education, etc. He could do a scholarship. So he donated 4 visits a day, 4 chiropractic adjustments a day. What his practice did, if you start adding that up, his practice went up a few $1,000s a month almost immediately because now he had a cause. He put that cause, he typed up what the basic essence of that cause is above the doors when he walked into his adjusting room and had a picture of his mother, and this one's for you. These are for you, Mom. And it just so happened, it took him 4 years to accumulate the amount of money that he felt was enough to start the actual scholarships. But he had his mother there at the Canadian Memorial graduation ceremony on behalf and set up this scholarship for her. And he said, as a result of that, he was alive. He drove himself. He pushed himself. His practice went up. His income went up. He was averaging about $8,000 more a month in his own income, even though he was now contributing to her income, to the cause that she had. So my point is this: the greater the cause, the greater the wealth. The greater the motivation. It's not that you don't have the ability to have opportunities for wealth building. They're all around you. It's just you must have the opportunity driven by a motivation factor. If the motivation factor is not growing faster than decline, you'll stagnate. That's my point here. I'm saying it over and over again. So I'd like you to, on these pages, this few lines that follow, I'd like you to write a few of the reasons why you're planning on being wealthy. Some cause, some purpose behind it. Maybe it's enough funds for your great-grandchildren to go to college. Maybe it's for some a purchasing a great piece of property. Maybe it's a park. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's for you to retire and do a worldwide travel around the world on a yacht or something. But you write down what it is that's inspiring you. What's the cause? And just know the greater your cause, the greater your motivation, the higher the probability of wealth coming in your life. I'm going to give you a second to write that. How many of you feel like you're uncovering something that you hadn't maybe awakened to before? Maybe you're discovering something that might drive you a little further. Anybody? Good. When I was a teenager, I believe you've got it now. When I was a teenager, I read my first book in my life. I didn't read until I was 17. I was told as a child that I would never read, write, or communicate. I had learning disabilities. So when I finally was able to read, it was the help of a great teacher and guided me. Obviously, learning became important to me. Because when you had a void, it drives a value. If the teacher tells me I would never read, write, or communicate, never amount to much, nor go very far in life, which is the exact word she said, then you can probably understand why I've read 28,000 texts and travel now as far as I do and do as much as communicating as possible. That's the gift. So voids drive values sometimes. But as a result of that, education and inspiration is very high on my value list. I'm not right or wrong for it. It's just who I am. But it inspires me to get up and do that. I love doing that. So you have to find out what you would love to do. What's something inspiring to you? What's your cause? To find that, there's two levels of function. You might want to write this. One's called motivation and one's called inspiration. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm an inspirational speaker. There's two different types. And let me elaborate on what the difference is. Everyone has a hierarchy of values. When they are true to their values, they know thyself. Be thyself. Love thyself, as the Delphic Oracle said. When they're true to themselves and they're living according to their values, they are inspired. They're inspired whatever is most important to them. Nobody has to get them up and discipline them to go and do what's most important to them. See, whatever your life is really important to you, whatever's really high on your value list, nobody has to get you up to do. Now, they may be watching TV and watching The Simpsons. If that's highest on your value list, and you'll be there disciplined every single night watching The Simpsons. But whatever it is, nobody has to motivate you to do it. What's truly most important. But when you're trying to get yourself to do things that are lower on your value list, the lower it is on your value list, the more you will require outside motivation to get you to do it. Now, if you have a hierarchy of values and you meet somebody else that has a different hierarchy of values and you put them on a pedestal and perceive them as authority, you will inject their value systems into your own, have an internal conflict, a moral dilemma, trying to live your own value systems and theirs, and you will require outside motivation to live theirs, but you will have inside inspiration to live yours. And the conflict between them will create a chaos. Are you with me on this? So, knowing yourself is the most stabilizing thing you can do according to their values. Once you've shifted your values to build wealth, knowing yourself and sticking to it and not infatuating with others or resenting others keeps you most steady and focused, which we'll talk more about as we go along here. So this is not a motivational seminar, it's an inspirational seminar, because it's designed to help you discover what's really truly inspiring to you and going out and figure out how to get rewarded economically for doing it. I'm absolutely convinced that a person can do that. They can find whatever they're most inspired by it and receive tremendous income from doing that. I'm convinced of that. There's somebody out there that's built wealth, almost anything you can imagine, somebody can build wealth at it. Once they have a cause and a motivation to do it, they get creative in figuring it out, how to do it.
That was the one and only Dr. John Demartini. He's so smart. Like every day, I aspire to be as well-read and as well-spoken as Dr. John Demartini. That's what I'm shooting for, and I will reach it one of these days. That clip comes from his audio program, Secrets to Financial Freedom. You can find that on his website at drdemartini.com. Get on his email list. I don't really promote people's email list too much, but I like being on his email list because every couple months he does a webinar, a live webinar. You can get the replay if you sign up for it. And he drops so much truth in these webinars. You don't have to buy anything. Of course, there's an offer there, but you can just sit through the webinar and just learn all kind of stuff that's going to change your life. So one more time, that's drdemartini.com. That's it for me. What an incredible week it has been. If you get a chance, please rate and review the show on iTunes. And of course, subscribe. And I really, really appreciate that. And I will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Peace.